Hey there, welcome back to 7 Minute Books. I'm Sam, and today we're talking about Aaron Stupple's The Sovereign Child, which is honestly one of the most provocative parenting books I've read in years. Sophie, I have to ask, did this book make you uncomfortable at all?
Oh, absolutely. And I think if it didn't, you're not reading it closely enough. Stupple's central idea is that children are sovereign individuals. They're not projects to be managed or empty vessels to fill. They're born with an innate drive toward competence and self-governance. The book basically asks, what if the most powerful thing a parent can do is step back and trust the child's natural development?
Right, and he starts by dismantling what he calls the engineering mindset in parenting. That idea that if you just provide the right inputs, the right school, the right discipline, the right values, you'll produce a successful adult. He says that mindset is exhausting for parents and corrosive for kids.
Exactly. When parents see themselves as engineers, they become hypervigilant, constantly intervening. The child learns that their own internal compass is unreliable, so they become dependent on external validation. Stupple says we need to switch from coercive authority to what he calls natural authority.
Yeah, coercive authority is the traditional model. I'm bigger and stronger, so you do what I say. It works in the short term, but the child behaves out of fear, not understanding. Natural authority flows from competence and trust. He uses this great analogy of a mountain guide.
Oh, I loved that. The guide doesn't carry the climber up the mountain. They walk alongside, point out tricky terrain, share their knowledge, and let the climber take each step themselves. The guide's authority is earned through experience, not imposed through command.
And that leads to his take on rules and boundaries. He says many household rules are arbitrary. They exist for the parent's convenience or to satisfy a social norm. He asks parents to ask themselves, is this rule necessary for safety or genuine household functioning? Or is it just a preference?
Right. If you enforce a rule that has no real consequence beyond your own comfort, you teach the child that authority is capricious. They learn to obey power rather than reason. Stupple suggests drastically reducing the number of rules and always explaining the why behind the ones that remain.
In discipline, he makes a sharp distinction between discipline and control. Control is about making the child do what you want. Discipline is about helping the child develop internal capacity to manage themselves. He says punishment is a lazy form of control.
Instead, he advocates for reality-based consequences. If a child refuses to wear a coat on a cold day, the natural consequence is that they'll be cold. The parent's job isn't to prevent that discomfort, but to be present to help the child process it. That requires tremendous self-restraint.
Honestly, that part got me, because my instinct would be to say, I told you so, or to just make them wear the coat. But he says that restraint is the essence of respect. By allowing the child to experience real-world results, you communicate profound trust in their ability to learn.
And he ties this to attachment theory with the concept of the secure base. The parent is a steady presence the child can return to for comfort before venturing back out. But Stupple extends it. The parent also has to be a secure base for themselves. If you're anxious or controlling, you can't offer a stable foundation.
So the work of parenting begins with the parent's own inner work. He encourages parents to examine their triggers, their unmet needs, their fears. Many parents are trying to create in their children the success or approval they feel they lacked. That's a recipe for disaster.
He also takes on the modern obsession with achievement. He says the pressure to excel in academics, sports, and extracurriculars is a form of theft. It steals the child's time, curiosity, and intrinsic motivation. The sovereign child is allowed to be bored, to daydream, to engage in purposeless play.
And he cites research showing that kids with long stretches of unstructured time develop stronger executive function than those with packed schedules. The parent's role isn't to fill the child's time, but to protect it. That's a hard sell in a culture that worships productivity.
On screens, he doesn't take a simplistic, all screens are bad stance. He asks, is the child creating, connecting, or learning? Or are they passively consuming content designed to hijack their attention? The real danger isn't the device itself, but the way it displaces real-world experiences.
And instead of arbitrary time limits, he suggests using reality-based consequences. If screen use interferes with sleep or schoolwork, you point to that real-world consequence and ask, how can we solve this together? It shifts from I said no to a collaborative problem-solving conversation.
He's also critical of traditional schooling, which he describes as a factory designed to produce compliant workers. He doesn't necessarily say everyone should homeschool, but he argues parents must protect their child's love of learning. That might mean advocating for more play-based learning or supporting interests that diverge from the curriculum.
One chapter that really stood out to me was about the emotional landscape of parenting, anger, frustration, and disappointment. He says these aren't signs of failure, but signals. When you feel angry, it's often because your own boundaries have been crossed or your needs neglected.
And he teaches parents to express those feelings cleanly, without blame. Instead of, you make me so angry when you leave your toys on the floor, you say, I feel frustrated when I see the toys on the floor because I value a tidy space. I need you to put them away before dinner. That's a huge shift.
It's a reorientation of responsibility. The parent takes ownership of their feelings and makes a clear request, rather than dumping emotional state onto the child. That's hard to do in the moment, but it models emotional honesty.
The book isn't easy. Stupple acknowledges that this approach requires emotional maturity and a willingness to tolerate uncertainty. When you stop controlling your child, you don't know exactly how they'll turn out. That's terrifying in a culture obsessed with measurable outcomes.
But he offers a countercultural reassurance. The goal isn't to produce a specific kind of adult. It's to support the emergence of a specific individual. They may not follow the path you choose, but if they're raised with respect and trust, they'll have the inner resources to navigate their own life.
And he ends with a broader call. He says our parenting culture reflects a loss of faith in human nature. We believe people are fundamentally flawed and need to be shaped from the outside. The sovereign child model is an act of rebellion, a declaration of trust in innate goodness and confidence.
So what's the one thing I'm taking away? It's that my job isn't to engineer a successful adult. My job is to be present, to trust, and to get out of the way. That's both liberating and terrifying.
And if you want to go deeper, the whole library is over on 7minutebooks.com/app. There are over 6,000 fiction and nonfiction titles you can read or listen to in any language, and it starts at $2.99 a month, $9.99 a year, or $19.99 for lifetime access.
So the real question Stupple leaves us with is, what would it mean to treat your child as a whole person, right now? Not as a future adult, but as a sovereign being deserving of your deepest respect.
That's the challenge. And maybe the most loving thing we can do. We'll see you in the next one.